Hello, good evening to everybody watching this video. We have a new challenge coming against Mr. KG Bird. And we have the Rossolimo Sicilian, quite a frequent guest in my games. Let's take on c6. Yeah, so he decided to recapture with the b pawn. This is quite a popular move right nowadays. The main line used to be d takes c6. But sometimes chess is mainly about fashion, not necessarily that one variation is better or worse than another, just pure fashion. So yeah, now he played e5. Well, this is not considered to be the best move for black, or at least not the main line, because now I can fight for the center with the move c3 followed by d4. And the pawn structure which we are about to get in the game, I believe after exchanging a lot of pawns in the center, might look solid for black on the first side, and maybe it is, but it's slightly passive because his bishop on c8 might find it hard to enter the game. So basically I'm quite happy with this variation as white. So let's see what happens. Well, he's taking quite a big thinking here, even though I believe those moves which he played were kind of forced. So yeah, he will probably play castle right now, safeguarding his king. Yeah, now I'll play knight c3. Yeah, and this is an interesting position. Black having the two bishops advantage, but white is also having a couple of advantages of his own. First of all, he's having the slightly more control over the center of the board. And also what I like about white's position is the black pieces are a bit restricted. The knight on e7, find it a bit difficult to move around thanks to this pawn on e4. Also his bishop on c8 is not a great piece. I don't think it has a lot of potential to get into a good square in this game. But of course this is still the opening phase. It's very possible that black will find good moves and will manage to equalize the game. So I think the next moves right from now are critical to the evaluation of this position. In general, my plan would be to develop the bishop, and I will try to exchange this bishop on g7, because as you can see, this bishop on g7 is his good bishop. He's having a good diagonal over here. His bad bishop is the one on c8. This is the bishop that I will try not to exchange. So yeah, he played rook b8, basically putting the rook on the open file, a bit hindering my development of the bishop on c1. Even though I believe I can fairly safely play the move b3 right now, even though it's slightly compromising the long diagonal. So maybe I should... oh no. It's funny because for a second I was considering playing the move queen to c2, and I'm happy that I realized on time that then my knight on d4 would be simply hanging. So probably the move b3 is solid enough. But I'm slightly worried about this bishop on g7 causing some trouble to me. I can also consider playing the move knight to b3, covering the b file with the knight, even though the knight is at the moment nicely centralized. So I don't see too much reason to move it away. Interesting. I actually have another idea which I didn't consider yet, which is completely different from all of the others, is to play the move pawn from e4 to e5 with a more aggressive intentions, maybe trying to get my knight into e4, trying to drum up some attack on the king side. It's a very sharp idea. I'm not too sure that it's a very good moment for such a move, so I think I will not play it, even though after the game I think it would be interesting to check whether this would have been a better idea. So I'll go with this move. I must say that I'm not 100% kind of sure that this move is what I wanted to do, or whether it was the best. But yeah, this is a fast game, and you don't always have the time to figure exactly what are the best moves, so you just go with your intuition and try to find a decent move. So yeah, he striked in the center with d5. Now I can take on d5 and try to play a slightly better position thanks to this isolated pawn, but I really like the idea of keeping the tension in the center of the board. So I want to develop my bishop either to f4 or g5. These ones seems like tempting squares. I'll go with probably bishop to g5, even though suddenly rook f4 looks tempting. The move bishop f4 is coming with a tempo, but the move bishop g5 creates a big threat to this knight on e7. Interesting. Yeah, but once again I'm short on time, so I will just pick one of them. Let's see. Bishop g5 will probably play his move bishop to e6, try to cover up his pawn on d5. And unfortunately I don't see a very clear way to continue from there. I'm probably still slightly better there. Let's go with bishop f4. It's a bit more of a caveman move, kind of just seeing an opportunity to attack the enemy rook and going for it. Yeah, well, rook b4. Actually, I have to admit that I actually failed to consider this move. I just forgot that it exists. So his point is that I cannot move my e-pawn because then the bishop on f4 would be hanging. Probably a good move from my opponent. Yeah, well, things are getting unclear a bit. I'm wondering whether I went a bit astray with the move bishop f4. Probably should have trusted my initial intuition and just go for bishop g5. But, well, let's see. What can I do right now? Well, I have to protect my bishop somehow, so it's either bishop g5, a possible move, or queen d2, covering the bishop on f4. Yeah, I'll probably go with queen d2 right now. I honestly think I've misplayed the last moves. Because now the position is starting to become a bit unclear. But let's see, probably everything is still okay. I'm just being a bit underrating kind of my position. So right now I might have some threats regarding moving this knight and having a discovered attack on the rook. And I also have some more strategic ideas. So the move bishop h6, as I've mentioned before, I would really like to exchange those bishops, because his bishop on g7 is a very strong piece, which I believe should be exchanged. Okay, bishop takes c3. Well, how can I define this move? With all respect to my opponent, I think this is a horrible move. So I was just praising how good this bishop on g7 was, and just to give it away like this for the sake of maybe winning a pawn on e4, probably not, is just a bad idea. Now look at all of those holes in his position. This looks horrible. Yeah, and the thing is that he is even not actually winning a pawn, because right now I have this bishop h6 idea. Question is whether I want to play it right now. I'll probably play it right now. Yeah. Obviously I miss the fact that he can play d4 right now. Yeah, I just forgot that this is an option. Yeah, this is quite embarrassing. I should have just first taken on e4 and then played this move. Yeah. Well, I should be a bit more focused, yeah. I still believe I should be winning though. It just became slightly more complicated right now. Probably queen f3. Yeah. Now the problem for him that his rook on e4 is hanging, so he will probably take on e1. So this is a good lesson for all of those watching this video. Sometimes some pawns are just not worth being taken. Seriously, taking such a pawn for the sake of giving up such a strong piece as the bishop on g7, completely surrendering the control over the dark squares around the king, is almost suicidal in my point. A very bad move. This is the kind of moves on which I believe the computer or some strong engine would say that maybe black dropped maybe 3 points of value off his position by making this move, something like this. We will see it later. Now the problem for him right now, that after he takes on e1, I take back. He would like to move his rook to e8, but I have this queen f6 move. And he will have some problems over the dark squares around the king, that's for sure. Well, this is now quite a critical moment, because the question is whether you can play rook e8 or not. It's basically the only move which attempts to save his material. Yeah, he played rook e8. Well, I must say this is, to me at least, a very funny position. Like having a pawn up and basically on queen f6, I actually thought from afar that after knight f5 I will have some tactic, but I probably failed again to evaluate the consequences. And I'm starting to be a bit low on time, so I will just try to make more quick decisions from now on. So one possible move to consider is g4, trying to control the square on f5, and then to play queen f6. It's not completely sure about this type of moves. I'll try to go with bishop g5 probably. His position is still, I believe, awfully dangerous, even though he might not get checkmated, at least not immediately. Yes, he played bishop e6, and now I still have those options of penetrating with queen f6. I should probably do it. Yeah, let's play queen f6. I'm simply threatening to take on d4 at the worst case scenario. Also, some rook takes e6 ideas are in the air. Perhaps even right now, it's a strong threat. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised that I've managed to kind of complicate the position to this degree that now my win is a bit jeopardized by some inaccurate moves that I've played. Yeah, he's having quite a long think right now, because this is the kind of positions that if for black, I mean, if he makes one wrong step, it might be just over immediately because he might get checkmated. The nice thing for me as white is that I can afford, in a way, to make some mistakes or inaccuracies, and I would probably would still be okay. I'm not in a danger of getting checkmated on the next few moves. He decided to take on b3. Now, amazingly, on bishop h6 he still have this knight f5 move, so I will just have to take on b3. I'm simply threatening to take on e7 and to win the piece, but yeah, he's keeping on finding resources. Queen a5 is a strong move actually. Why is everything so complicated? You should have lost so long ago. It's ridiculous. But I think I found a strong move. I think b4, surprisingly, is a strong move. Okay, I'm very short on time, so I'll just play it. But my idea is simply... Oh, but it's not working. No. Jesus. I thought I could take on the next move after he takes with his queen on b4, but he still has this back rank checkmates. Oh gee. Well, concentrate. I still have the move queen e5 though. Let's just play it. I'm threatening both bishop takes e7, but perhaps even bishop h6 is a strong threat. So I think that he's holding on for the moment, and he's also 2 pawns down, 2 pawns up from a material point of view, but this has to be losing. Okay, d3. Yeah, so time trouble is approaching. Why is bishop takes e7 not winning? I'm almost feeling like having bad luck in this game, but isn't bishop h6 just winning right now? The thing is that aside from threatening bishop queen g7, if he tries to play f6, I can play this little check on e6. Yeah, and this is game over. Yeah, at the end of the day, I did manage to outsmart him, but I made it so much more difficult that I should have. Now let's look at this moment, queen d2. Now, computer writes that after a normal move like a5, black's chances are about equal. And after this move, just look at this, it's suddenly +2 advantage for white. So, just a very bad mistake. And yeah, in this position I have no idea how could I miss this simple detail. But I should have just taken on e4 immediately and then bishop h6, and I would have been just completely winning. And also in the opening I wanted to see whether I played the best move. Well, yeah, I should probably analyze it a bit more deeply after this, but it seems like I've played correctly, but the move bishop f4 perhaps was inaccurate. Probably bishop g5 should be preferred, but probably we'll need to check this to a bit more depth. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the game. I definitely enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye bye.